the stalled road projects? And two, could he indicate to this House and the great people of Kandui, who is the contractor? What is the contractual sum? How much money has been paid? Because the contractor has not been on site at all ever since the year 2019. And could he indicate also to the House, taking into account the actions he has proposed, have they engaged this contractor to get him to resume the site? And two, if they have so engaged him, when can the great people of Kandui expect this contractor on site? Because 2 weeks ago, the members of the residents were actually planting bananas on that road. And this is a very big embarrassment to our government.
Thank you. That's enough. Member for Dadaab. Honorable members, the screen is full and has been full since we started. So I don't know whether it's full because of the minister who left or the minister who is on the podium. So what I will now resort to for this round is you probably be inconvenienced to show your hands so that one after the other. I've given Farah. When he finishes, then we'll come to you. And one question at a time. I'll take the minister record the first 6.
Mr.
We've done
Speaker.
Kandui, now we are Dadaab.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the minister said that there is not going to be any new roads that are going to be started. Mr. Minister, we have got borders with 5 countries. We have our borders with Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. Northeastern Province is the only country that is the only province, the former Northeastern Province, is the only province that does not have a tarmac road that moves from Nairobi all the way to the border places. In view of the fact that we have a lot of insecurity, our boys in uniform are being blown up in the road between Garissa and Liboi, Garissa and Hulugo, all the way to Mandera. Could he use this now as a conduit, as a security road, and promise this House that the infrastructure in that region to our neighboring Somalia will be taken care of as a security measure?
Thank you. Member for Nyatike.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have 2 questions.
Only one.
No, I was standing in for
Only one. Just ask one question.
Okay. Let me concentrate on the road in Nyatike, the Masara Golumuk Road. When you look at the order paper, there was a mix-up. When I presented myself in the committee, when I was given notice to go to the committee, we handled Masara Muhoro. But ministers adequately answered my question about Masara Agolumuk, which I want to appreciate. The only concern I have, Honorable CS, currently there are a lot of rains. The area you have mentioned between Nyakweri and Luanda Konyango, as we are talking now, the drainage is done, but backfilling has not been done. So the road is not in use. As much as the debt burden is there, can we have a quick fix so that the road can be motorable, so that our people can use the road all through to Migori? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Member for Taita Taveta, Women. One question.
Thank you, Speaker. To the Minister, he has mentioned several roads which are stalls. And there's one, Jukini, Rombo, and Elasit, Bura, Mgange, Mbale, and Mtomogod. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Minister to tell us the status of these roads and what plan the government has for these roads, whether they're stalled or they're not stalled, whether they're still, which plan they have for these roads. Thank you.
Honorable Sane.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mine is in regard to the emergencies we are facing right now following the flooding in Wajir North constituency. Wajir North is cut off from the entire country. It's not accessible. So could I ask the Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary, on what he is doing about the Buna Bridge, which has always been a perennial problem since independence, cutting off Wajir North from the rest of the country, and equally Hote Watiti Bridge, which has never been done, and the recently washed away Modogashe Tarmac, which was newly built. What are his plans to make sure that those roads and bridges are done, to make sure that the citizens get services, as following the severe drought, now they are in another tragedy of flooding? Thank you.
Honorable Ngogoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, while I appreciate the answers that the CS, who is also my namesake, and Onesimus is a very important name, Mr. Speaker, because he's Onesimus Murkomen and Onesimus Ngogoyo, it's good for me to mention, Mr. Speaker, because maybe I could be a CS one day.
Totally.
I want to ask the CS to appraise this House on the specific measures that the CS has taken in relation to the road carnage in this country. Mr. Speaker, I want him to tell this House the accidents that we've seen, Pwani University, Wundanyi, the Naivasha issue, are they related to the incomplete projects that are around this country? The gracious lady, Mr. Speaker, has asked about the safety of road users along Mombasa Road. In Ngong, in Kiserian, Mr. Speaker, I am the Member of Parliament, there are serious issues. I think right now, the people who are dying out of accidents could be more than the people dying on COVID. For sure, there is a serious issue on our roads. There is a time National Transport and Safety Authority could be seen doing something. What is the CS doing? And what is the ministry doing about the deaths on our roads, Mr. Speaker? Does he have any cabinet memo that he has presented? What is he doing about it? What does this House, can he tell us on the specific measures that he has undertaken so that we know we are safe, Mr. Speaker? And these incomplete projects, are they related to the accidents that are happening, Mr. Speaker? I would want to hear that from the CS.
CS, I'll take two more. Member, say your name, honorable member. I can't see you clearly. Give him the mic. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My names are Sakimba Parashina, member of Parliament, Kajiado South constituency.
Sorry, member for community, your position has been hijacked by.
Thank you, sir.
Colleague.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, Honorable Speaker, I just stand to ask a question to the CS. Partly has been asked by Honorable Women Rep of Taita Taveta, but the road is about Ilasit Taveta Road. That road, Honorable Speaker, it will fall under the issue of emergency, if you are to talk about the emergency, if you are to talk about the issue of security, because the road is located in the border between Kenya and Tanzania, and if we talk about the economy, it is in between the Amboseli National Park, Game Reserve, and Savo National Park, and it also serves the issue of agricultural products, that supply of food. So when they are going to make a decision on which roads to do, this road has been put in pending for many years. So we want to ask the CS, what are the measures it's doing to make sure that a road that serves the economic purpose of this country is being neglected, whereas even if the money is not there, but some money is there, what is going to be done for that road? Another thing is about that road now is causing accidents. So member. We want us.
Last on this, I'll give the gracious lady from Nandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, all the roads in this country, like has been stated clearly, are in a sorry state in regards to the stalling. Honorable Speaker, I want to ask if the CS can be gracious enough to provide this House with a comprehensive list, Honorable Speaker, of all the roads in this country when they were first tendered, what is their status right now, and what is the way forward in regards to the same, Honorable Speaker, so that we stop going back and forth and we have a comprehensive list of all the roads in this country, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Mwisho, Martin Pepela. Then, Minister, you answer those 10. We'll do another round, members, just be patient. I know roads are as important as security. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Minister tell this House and the Pofwebuye East how come the road from Misiro to Naitiri and Lugulu to Makuselwa, even after the Ministry paying the contractor advancement payment of around 150 million, the contractor has not even done 10% of that road, which is approximately around 4 kilometers of the first milestone. Secondly, how comes the contractor has not even maintained the road as to play within the contract ahead of works, Mr. Speaker? And finally, what undertaking is the ministry giving the Pofwebuye is that this road will be completed within the stipulated period, Honorable Speaker? Thank you.
Minister, you have those 10.
Mr. Speaker,
from
if you allow me, I'll start with a question asked by Honorable Cynthia Muge, who is asking about what we are doing, the roads and everybody. And this will help in all these questions being asked, Mr. Speaker, because I had already said earlier, and I think your orderlies had requested, I think I should table the list officially to the House. And I think, Mr. Speaker, once I do so, in the subsequent conversations, the near future, members will have a reference point of all the contracts in the entire 800 projects. Mr. Speaker, from there now, if honorable members want to consult with the agency or the ministry, we are available. Number two, Mr. Speaker, very important, I established a procedure of consultation with all leaders, all. Mr. Speaker, so far, we have had a meeting with 11 counties, the latest being Turkana this morning, county. And as a result of these meetings with Tarakaniti, Kisii, Baringo, we have had, Mr. Speaker, with Turkana, as I said this morning, among others, it's become more easier for members to make certain suggestions during the meeting. And Mr. Speaker, it's been even more helpful where you have a meeting with the county governor present, because then we deal with duplication of roads and allocation of resources. Again, Mr. Speaker, as I've said, my office is open. We are 11 counties. I will intensify the consultations. I think Kajiado is the next county, and we'll make sure that we do all the remaining 36 counties, Mr. Speaker, in maybe in the next 3 months. Our meetings start at 7:30 in the morning. By 9, we are done. So honorable members and the DGs are able to go back to their offices. And all these questions and clarifications, once they are asked there, they, Mr. Speaker, help us to do our job, but also helps the members of parliament to do their oversight work. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that on the specific questions asked, for example, the Navakolo Road, Mr. Speaker, asked by the honorable member for Kandui, Mr. Speaker, that road has told from 2017, if I remember, 2017, 2018, because I remember a little bit because some of the members had come to my office. And Mr. Speaker, what we have done is this told not because of the money. It's told even at a time when we had resources, Mr. Speaker. As a result, it is as a result of the contractor. And we have decided to terminate the contract, but by mutual consent with the contractor. And Mr. Speaker, the process of getting another contractor who is more effective is ongoing. And soon, Mr. Speaker, coupled with the mechanisms we are putting in place to ensure we have resources, that contract will continue and will be prioritized, Mr. Speaker, considering the length of period that has taken for this road to be done. Mr. Speaker, I'll ask the Honorable, as far as question together with Honorable Sane, on the question of the North as a whole. Mr. Speaker, indeed we are unable to do new roads. But if you remember in my answer, I put a rider that, Mr. Speaker, unless these are roads that are supported by development partners. The good news in the northern part of the country is that under this project of Horn of Africa, Mr. Speaker, projects funded by World Bank and African Development Bank, we've been able to do major projects. In fact, some of the major projects, Mr. Speaker, that are going to happen this year or in the next 3 or 4 years are all of them in the north. All these are new projects. And Mr. Speaker, it's going to change the situation in the northern part of the country. We are not only doing the roads, the main tarmac roads, but we are ensuring that all these roads provide spur roads to access all the centers, all the schools, facilitate support in the urban areas. Number two, that all these roads, Mr. Speaker, have ICT connectivity. The cable, the fiber optic cable, thank you, PS. The fiber optic cable is going to be laid along all these roads, Mr. Speaker, and you will see the reverse, that the northern part, which has been marginalized for a long time, might quickly become the part that will have more ICT connectivity thanks to this project, Mr. Speaker. And going forward, all these projects are going to be accommodated. Mr. Speaker, I want to assure Honorable Farah that his concerns are going to be taken care of. We know that there's a road that's supposed to be done together with the highway from Lamu to Garissa, a connection to the border, Mr. Speaker, with our Somalia border to support security. You know that we have had issues in the recent past, Mr. Speaker, of a few acts of resistance by elements, Mr. Speaker, who don't support development, who want to scare our contractors. But we've been working with the Minister of Interior and Minister of Defense to ensure that this is delivered and delivered on time, Mr. Speaker, to change the north to become the land of opportunity. Mr. Speaker, on the question of Masara Road, I think the honorable member knows that we have made comprehensive answer, and it's unanswered. I don't want to repeat myself. The only thing I want to assure him is that we are looking for ways to ensure it's motorable at this period, at this time because of the rain. Mr. Speaker, the Ilasit Road, asked by both Honorable Haika and Honorable Parashina, Mr. Speaker of Kajiado South. Mr. Speaker, the Ilasit Road is part of the few roads that have been identified for annuity project, and it's part of Lot 32 of the annuity program. It's a very important project for us. It should have been completed many years ago, but you know the negotiation project of annuity, it takes long. In the ministry, the reports that we have done, Mr. Speaker, show that if we were going to continue to deliver this road under annuity project, it's going to be very, very expensive. We are going to use up to, for the period we are going to maintain this road, up to 23 billion. Mr. Speaker, we think that for a road of 67 kilometers, it may not be viable to spend that amount of money. Yet in an EPC contract, you can spend about 5 to 6 billion. We are in negotiation with the contractor because he has spent money to prepare for, Mr. Speaker, this annuity project. We are having consultations as a ministry to request them to perhaps find a way, and in keeping with our procurement laws, of turning the contractor to be an EPC contractor, Mr. Speaker, so that then he can perhaps save something from the resources he has spent in structuring this annuity project, but at the same time deliver the project under EPC contract. Mr. Speaker, I have had also consultation with leaders, and soon when I meet Kajiado and Taita Taveta, we will perhaps have had an answer at the progress when we will have reached. Mr. Speaker, allow me to, Mr. Speaker, skip the question by my namesake, Honorable Ngogoyo of Kajiado North, Mr. Speaker, so that I conclude with it. Mr. Speaker, on the question of Honorable Pepela of the Musingu Road, again, it falls within the same rubric of roads that are suffering because of finances, and Mr. Speaker, we are going to make sure that we prioritize. In fact, I dare say that I invite the honorable member and the team of Kakamega to be the, Bungoma, sorry, for Bungoma, to be the next team that will come for a meeting with us after Kajiado, Mr. Speaker, in the second week of next month, so that, Mr. Speaker, we can have comprehensive conversation on all these roads and the status. The good thing with the meetings when we have is that all the agencies are sitting there and solutions to these problems are discussed collectively, both county and national, but also with Mr. Speaker, honorable members. And I think I'll extend it to Honorable Pepela and his team from Bungoma for a conversation on the same. Now, Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, my friend Honorable Ngogoyo has asked a very, Mr. Speaker, very serious question on road safety. Mr. Speaker, you know this is very dear. In fact, I came here with a very heavy heart because I've been having meetings with NTSA and other ministry officials. Mr. Speaker, before I came here, there is instructions that, Mr. Speaker, I issued to NTSA for certain measures to be put in place. Perhaps that will help. And with your permission, Mr. Speaker, if you can allow me 3 minutes, I can read a few of them, not all of them, but for the record of this House and for the country. Mr. Speaker, I acknowledge what my colleague has said, and it's very painful to imagine, Mr. Speaker, that children who are going home from school could not reach home, Mr. Speaker, because of a road accident. And in fact, that incident, Mr. Speaker, is extremely unfortunate because the driver of the vehicle was outrightly overtaking in a place that other vehicles were queuing, Mr. Speaker, in Dalame area. And you all know he was trying to get into the junction between Maimayu and Kinungi Road by force, Mr. Speaker. And then he met with the lorry head-on, and we lost our dear children. I feel pained as a cabinet secretary in charge of this sector. Sometimes I wish that driver, I would find him and do something, Mr. Speaker, about him. But, Mr. Speaker, that's the truth, that the problem is that as a cabinet secretary in a sector like this, you also have to carry the burden of bad manners and bad behaviors of individuals, Mr. Speaker, who have caused havoc in our roads. But that as may be, I take responsibility that this job is in my docket, and I must continue doing everything humanly possible to provide leadership as to what we are going to do. And as a result, today, Mr. Speaker, I have directed the NTSA to do the following one, that school transportation shall not be allowed to operate between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. in line with Traffic Amendment Act 2017, Mr. Speaker, effective immediately. Mr. Speaker, all school children must be allocated seats with functional seat belts put on at all time. And we should not ignore to say you are small-bodied, you can be carried, squeezed in a matatu. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, school vans, buses, and matatus that are unroadworthy must be removed from the roads with immediate effect. In the meantime, Mr. Speaker, in the implementation of the Intelligence Road Safety Management System, all heavy commercial operators must ensure vehicles with tare weight of 3,049 kilograms and above are fitted with speed limiters effective immediately. Mr. Speaker, in compliance with standards 2295 of 2018, all the 57 licensed speed limiter vendor must install approved gadgets that will limit speed, record speed data after every 5 seconds, transmit data to both the NTSA and vendor servers, and report violations real time, Mr. Speaker. To ensure all public service vehicles operate with functional speed limiters and multi-agency clinic, functional speed limiters, a multi-agency clinic shall be formed to verify and validate all speed limiters from 25th of April 2023 to 31st May 2023. All stakeholders, including public transport operators, speed limiter vendors, and the National Police Service will be incorporated into this multi-agency exercise. Number 7, all black spot management, I wish to direct that Kenya National Highway Authority, Kenya Urban Roads Authority, and the Kenya Transport and Safety Authority to work expeditiously to complete the ongoing road safety audits on all black spots and ensure safety interventions, including installation of signage, reflectors, and street lighting within the next 30 days. Additionally, all infrastructure around school should be audited and declared school zones with necessary road furniture for the safety of our school children within the next 6 months. I have further instructed the road agencies to ensure cameras have been installed in all black spots. The first phase to be completed within the next 4 months, Mr. Speaker. Section 336 of Cap 403 of Traffic Act provides that a driver of a public service vehicle or a commercial vehicle shall be required to undergo every 3 years a driving test under Section 39 successfully as a condition for each renewal of license. Further, Section 105A1 of Traffic Act provides that a driver of a public service vehicle or a commercial vehicle shall, after every 3 years from the date of issue of driving license, pursuant to Section 30 of the renewal of such license, whichever is the case, undergo, Mr. Speaker, underline, undergo a physical fitness test, including an eye and hearing test by a qualified medical practitioner. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, I have directed that from 1st of June 2023, all PSV drivers and commercial vehicle drivers, upon expiry of their licenses, will be subjected to a mandatory driver retest before renewal of driving license. From 1st of July 2023, all PSV drivers and commercial vehicles drivers will be subjected to a mandatory medical fitness test by a qualified medical practitioner before renewal of their driving licenses. Additionally, all driver trainees will be expected to provide a medical certificate before administration of the NTSA driver test. On the enforcement of proliferation of substandard products in automotive industry, it has been noted from the crash, Mr. Speaker, investigations that most of the crashes are caused by tire burst, brake failure while on high speed, while others were caused by crashing into vehicles mounted with substandard retroflective strip stars, affecting visibility of the road. To address this, I have directed NTSA to form a multi-agency enforcement team, bringing together Anti-Counterfeit Agency, Kenya Bureau of Standards, National Police Service, to weed out distributors and suppliers of substandard products and spare parts. In compliance with Standard Stat 372 of 2019, a passenger vehicle being constructed, this is important, Mr. Speaker, I direct immediate enforcement of anti-rolling bars, installation of seat belts, and proper anchorage of seats on all public service vehicles, including matatu, omnibuses, and buses. Additionally, I have tasked NTSA through the Motor Vehicle Inspection Unit to validate and take necessary action against the non-compliant vehicles. Mr. Speaker, the last measure, as the 11th measure, Mr. Speaker, to support a post-crash management and in implementation of Regulation 11G of the PSV Regulation 2014, all long-distance public service vehicles, PSV, are directed to subscribe to an accident and emergency system with immediate effect. In addition to this, the vehicles are required to prominently display the details of subscription as public information and for passenger reference. Mr. Speaker, additionally, I have instructed NTSA to submit a list of non-compliant public service vehicles and heavy commercial vehicles to the Insurance Regulatory Authority for assessment of the insurance policies within the next 7 days. In the long term, for effective implementation of the same, I further direct the NTSA to work on finalizing system integration between them and the insurance sector for real-time data sharing to assist the compliance and enforcement. I also directed that all motor vehicle owners with expired inspection certificates must present their vehicles to nearest the NTSA center for fresh assessment of their roadworthiness within the next 30 days. In conclusion, I assure Kenyans of the ministerial commitment to implement regulations, policies, and laws and enhance behavioral change through training and sensitization to reduce road carnage, enhance safety and security on our roads, and save lives of our road users. We shall work closely with the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination and other related ministries and state agencies to ensure these directives are adhered to. I have also instructed NTSA to intensify the Usalama Barabarani campaign, an education awareness program across the country in a bid to change the attitude and behavior of all road users. I also call upon leaders, including honorable members in this chamber, cabinet colleagues of mine, governors, state agencies, religious leaders, the media fraternity, and all stakeholders in the transport sector to support these initiatives and to reverberate this clarion call at all levels. I urge members of public to take personal responsibility for their safety by putting on seatbelts when in vehicles, wearing helmets when riding aboard a border, Mr. Speaker, crossing the road at the designated point, reporting drunk drivers, and refusing to board, Mr. Speaker, vehicles that are driven by drunk drivers, refusing also to board, Mr. Speaker, and roadworthy vehicles, and stopping and alighting from speeding vehicles. Mr. Speaker, usalama barabarani ni jukumu letu sote. Help us restore sanity in our roads by reporting incidents of traffic violation to the National Police Hotline 911. Mr. Speaker, those are the measures we put in place. And Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity granted. And by coincidence, the fact that, Mr. Speaker, I had this document just having issued now to just get the opportunity on the floor of this very important August House, Madam Speaker, to make this very important statement related to our roads. Of consequence, Mr. Speaker, I promised this House during vetting that we shall make sure that road enforcement, traffic enforcement, Madam Speaker, will take advantage of technology. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we are doing everything possible with the road agencies and NTSA to make sure that cameras are installed to start with within the Northern Corridor, Mombasa, Malaba, and also, Mr. Speaker, within our cities to ensure that we are able to catch all these culprits. And we are starting in the next 2 to 3 months with the black spots, Mr. Speaker, a number of the black spots that have been identified. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Taita Taveta, Honorable Haikam Ziggy. Oh, she's had, no, she's, Honorable Members, she's doing a follow-up question. And then after that, we still have an opportunity for 10 others. That's the instruction I had here, that she has a follow-up question.
Thank you, Ms. Thank you, CS, for the answer about Taveta Elicity Road. It was a reminder about the Pura Mgange, Undanyi, Mtomogodi Road. Please, if you can shed light on that one, a quick one. Thank you.
Okay, I think Waziri, you'll wait for the next round of questions. Yeah. I'll just go by the list here.
Am I supposed to respond?
The problem is I cannot be able to see all your faces from this far. Honorable members, please. The Honorable Member for Ruangwe, Honorable Lilian Gogo. The Honorable Karemba.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And as I ask this question, I would like to thank the CS because the road, the Kieni-Karurumo road in my constituency that has been where the contractor had deserted works, the contractor has already resumed work. He has mobilized, and today I've received the good news that he has embarked on the tarmacking of that road. So receive my appreciation, the Honorable Speaker. The Honorable CS. The Honorable CS, I would like to ask you this, because you've said that it is the citizens' responsibility to ensure road safety. And I am a frequent traveler on the Embu, Nairobi, Meru Road. And what I have seen the Honorable CS is that the police officers who are supposed to man the roads are very busy people, not manning the roads, but collecting money from the road users, from the matatu drivers, from the border operators. So as you tell the citizens that it is their responsibility to ensure their road safety by reporting the police officers, to the police, I would wish that you also make a declaration, or rather even issue a statement to remove those police officers from the roads whose responsibility has now become to collect monies from matatu drivers and harassing border operators. So tell us what you're doing about that, because that is partly what is causing the menace that we are having on our roads in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Wundanyi.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika. Nataka kusema jambo mfupi tu sana kwamba kwa waziri nimshukuru kwa sababu amesema ameelekeza mambo mazuri sana ya kupigana na utovu wa nidhamu barabarani. Lakini nataka kusema kwamba juzi nimekuwa na ajali mbaya sana kule kwangu Wundanyi. Tumepoteza watu 13. Sehemu ile ni ile inaitwa Black Spot. Kulijengwa ukuta wa mita nusu, kama mita moja hivi, ili magari yanaposhuka, manake ni pahali pa muinuko, ili akigonga yasi roll. Sasa waziri, nataka kuomba kwamba sehemu ile kwanza ijengwe ukuta mkubwa ambao gari ikigonga basi isi roll. Lakini pili, sehemu ile ni hatari sana, na ndio kwa sababu tulikuwa
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think now it is automatically me.
I've not given you the mic, Honorable Member. Complete your question.
Sasa nilikuwa naomba waziri tujenge ukuta, alafu njia ile tulikuwa pesa ilikuwa imewekwa na barabara ikaanza ile ya Mto Mogodi Mbale ambayo Mheshimiwa Ika ameitaja. Ile barabara ingekuwa imefanyika ama ingekuwa inapitisha magari, watu wangetumia ile barabara ya mwinuko ambayo iko na black spot. Kwa hivyo ombi langu ni kwamba waziri, najua pesa ileko katika budget supplementary, naomba ikiwezekana ifanyike kwa haraka ili watu wasiendelee kupoteza maisha mahali pale. Alafu pili, saizi kumenyesha mvua, barabara haipitiki. Sasa naomba kwamba hata kama contractor atakuwa hajarudi barabarani, tutafute njia ya kufanya kwamba barabara hiyo ya Bura ya Mto Mogodi, Msau, Mbale, Wundanyi, Bura iweze kupitika kwa sasa ili watu wasiendelee kupoteza maisha mahali pale Josa. Asante Mheshimiwa Speaker.
Honorable Kakai, I know you don't have your mic.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. For the CS, you've articulated the issue on the financial constraints for the country, which we can see and we can feel. But I would like you to assure this House that as you start the new project, you'll also ensure there is fair distribution, because you also being my county-mate by extension, in Trans Nzoia you've seen how skewed projects have been distributed. An example, if you look at Kiminini, the only road that passes in Kiminini is the Eldoret Highway via Moisbridge, which again is very narrow with frequent accidents. And the second one is Bungoma, Webuye, Kiminini, then Trans Nzoia town. I think the same thing also applies to constituencies like Endebess, where we only have the highway crossing over to Uganda. So I would like you to assure us that as you resume the new projects, you'll also give priority and ensure fair distribution. And lastly, as you do those projects, also to assure us that it will not just be roads construction, but you'll also ensure that we come up with the infrastructure that fits the current realities. Because today there is human and motorcycle competition and vehicles as well. So for areas that are populated and they really rely on a motorcycle transportation, somehow an initiative that is more sort of aggressive and proactive to address even a possibility of having special lane for motorcycles. because the menace on motorcycle, we've seen even recently, barring our own member of parliament because of that. So even as we make those infrastructure, we need to be more creative and try to really address the current reality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Madam.
Member for Naivasha, Honorable Jane Kihara.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I ask my question now, I would like to tell the CS how important it is to get the dueling of Rironi, Mau Summit Road. All the deaths are happening between there and Naivasha, especially. Now, I wanted to ask the CS the criteria used to classify a road as a security road. Why I ask this, Madam Speaker, it is because in the last regime I had gone to the PS interior, indicating that the road linking Nakuru and Narok via Maela, Kongoni, coming out in Naivasha was so important because when we have demonstrations, which are there quite often, on the Narok Road, when drivers kill Maasai cows or they kill sand harvesters. The demonstrations there become very ugly, and sometimes even tourists are blocked and get late for their flights in Nairobi when they come from Masai Mara. So that road is so important, linking the two counties, Narok and Nakuru via Naivasha. So I would like to ask the minister to get it, to classify it as a security road, because actually it is. He also knows that he came to campaign in Naivasha, him and the president. Actually, he came twice, and they promised to get that road done. So as we classify it as security, it is very important that it is put in the list.
The Honorable nominated member, the Honorable Jackson Kosgei. Honorable Bishop Kosgei.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to ask two questions to the Honorable CS. Number one is, what is the ministry doing to ensure the infrastructural developments, especially in urban areas, when we build new roads, it ensures accessibility by persons with disability and also emergencies? That is one. Number two, we have also we have witnessed that in our port of entry, and I wish to single out the major one, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, where if you are coming home, you got, as a person with disability, you got to disembark and go around to where the planes are, the engines are running, and enter the port of entry using the same cargo area. What is the ministry doing to make sure that it is possible for persons with disability to access our major airport and also our airstrips, where we need only a RAM that can be portable one, and the samples are there? So we have been, the persons with disability are subjected to so many difficulties as they access the same. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I will allow Honorable Muliungi, member for Mwingi Central, to ask his last question. Then all of you will have an opportunity, because I know that they are similar, to do the follow-up questions. We have plenty of time.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, the other questions which I had asked, I needed to seek some further clarifications. If you allow me, Gunenu, I wanted to find out whether the CS will allocate adequate budget, because if you pay 72 million, which you have allowed in this financial year, and the pending bill is 175 million, the contractor will definitely not go to site. He will not go back. And therefore, I need that clarification. Number two, there are heaps of maram which were left on the road, and a one-way side road provided. And because of that, there has been many accidents. We have lost a lot of people. And we need that intervention so that that is made good, so that we don't continue losing lives because of a stalled project and the negligence by the contractor. The Kalisasi Mumbuni Road, it is not terminating at Mumbuni Shopping Center. The terminus is Musukini, so you can make that correction. And the Mumbuni is 1 kilometer. Sorry, Musukini is 1 kilometer. Mumbuni is 5 kilometer. And my wish is to reach Mumbuni. So you need also to clarify that, because the money to get to Musukini Shopping Center was removed through the supplementary budget. And therefore the road ended in the bush instead of going to the shopping center. So I want to find out whether you are going to reinstate that budget cut to enable the road to reach Musukini Shopping Center. The other one, Mwingi Slaughter, there is no lot called Mwingi MTC Nzeluni Miambani. Miambani gets to Kitui town, which is about 50 kilometers away. But this was 3.7 kilometers only. But if you can get to that 50 kilometer, it will be better for me and for the people of Mwingi Central. And therefore, what the contractor did is he did the tarmac, the bitumen, only, and left out services like water, reinstatement of pipes, street lighting. Culverts were poorly done because there was no drainage which was done. So the culverts are above the tarmac level. And what I was asking is if that is going to be corrected. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I now go to my last question, which is on the expressway. Number one, can the CS provide a status report on the use of the Nairobi Expressway since its inauguration and how it has improved traffic congestion in the city? Number two, state whether the ministry intends to improve the main Mombasa road that was affected by the construction of the expressway, including providing the necessary drainage infrastructure, road signs, and bus stops, which are lacking now. Number three, explain why there are no entry and exit points to the Nairobi Express to and from the city center, and in particular, El Salase Avenue and the Kenyatta Avenue. Because if you are coming from Mombasa Road and you want to land in the city center, you have to go all the way to Museum roundabout so that you can come back, and it doesn't help at all. And clarify whether this was a strategic or an erroneous omission, and if so, when will the ministry rectify this glaring omission? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I will now allow the Honorable Member for Mwingi West, Honorable Charles